So, good day everyone. It's been a long time. Okay, so welcome back to another exciting year of studying readings in Philippine history. I hope you all had a restful break. Wow, restful. And you are ready to delve into new and fascinating topics. As we embark on this journey together, I wanted to kickstart our first class or our first year. Okay, another year I mean, with a captivating discussion on the Spanish rule in the Philippines and its profound impact on the Filipino people. So, our topic for today has something to do with understanding colonization, Spanish, under Spanish occupation. Okay? So, during the reign, the Spanish authorities implemented various institutional charges that shaped the course of Filipino history. Okay, as we can see guys, this shift is not only altered the religious landscape but also had a profound influence on the cultural practices na meron tayo today. Okay? So, Spanish regime or Spanish occupation had a big impact on our lives. Okay? So, in our upcoming lessons, we will explore how these Spanish authorities sought to convert the Filipinos with different cultures, religion, establishing churches, religious orders throughout the archipelago. So we will examine the consequence of this forced adoption of Spanish religious customs and traditions. We'll analyze the impact on the Filipino people's way of life and their subsequent resistance or assimilation. So I hope that you are now ready to delve into the fascinating world of readings in Philippine history. Okay, so I am excited to see you again and to embark on this journey with each and every one of you. And I look forward to our engaging discussions and insightful discoveries throughout the semester. So again, let's make this an unforgettable and enriching experience together. So our topic for today, guys, is understanding colonization under Spanish occupation. So our learning targets for this lesson, okay, are first to discuss institutional changes imposed by the Spanish authorities. So, what are the changes that has been imposed to us by the Spanish authorities way back their occupation in the Philippine archipelago? And next, we will compare the differences between Philippine pre-colonial way of living, as we've discussed in the past lessons, and life under the Spanish rule. So, ibig sabihin, we will discuss the before and during. Okay? And we will discuss the effect of the changes to the people. Okay. So, first, we will discuss institutional changes by the Spanish authorities. Okay. So, the Spanish authorities, guys, imposed several changes on the Filipino people during their rule. And one of the most changes was the introduction to us the Catholicism or the Christianity as the dominant religion. Okay? So the Spanish authorities sought to convert us to Catholicism and establish churches, religious orders, and this had a profound impact on the religious and cultural practices of the Filipino people as we are compelled to adopt Spanish religious customs and traditions. Okay? So, yon. And another institutional changes are the following. So, next slide. The reduction. Sir, what is a reduction? So, as you can see in the slide, reduction is a community setup under ecclesiastical or royal authority to facilitate colonization, wherein the native peoples from small villages were forcibly relocated to the settlements. So, and these settlements here at the center of this area, it is called poblacion. So, sir, I have a question. Okay, what is the main purpose of this thing called reduction? So, why are we being gathered? Okay, so in near poblacion. Here's the answer to that, guys. Reduction aim to consolidate colonial control over Philippine indigenous communities by compelling individuals to relocate into poblations within distance of church malapit sa ospital, no, malapit sa simbahan. So, bakit, sir? So, here, bell ringing ordered daily life by signaling times to congregate and by marking special occasions. So, since there are bells in the churches, okay, minamind condition tayo na kapag tumunog na ang kampana, okay, there is a congregation or there is a special occasions, and at the same time inside the this area it is called poblasyon, okay. So kaya kung makikita nyo halos lahat ng bayan or almost all of the cities, towns, municipalities in the Philippines are having their barangay called poblasyon. As you can see, poblasyon, nasa gitna yan, sentro yan, malapit yan sa simbahan, sementeryo, mga malalaking paaralan. Bakit? They serve as the major population center of the area. Okay? And then, it is a style wherein, or it is a geographical technique wherein the Spanish authorities can collect taxes easily. Okay? Nilagay nila sa gitna lahat. Especially those who are prominent individuals to relocate into poblasyon para makolekta nila ng mas mabilis. Okay? Yung mga taxes or buwis. Okay? So, in poblasyon, makikita mo dyan yung church, government offices, market, and the school. Okay? So, that is relocated on that. Okay? So, sir, bakit reduction ang tawag yan? If you will translate it, reduction, pinaliit, or kinonsolidate, pinagsama, okay, sa gitna. So, yon. That's why, that is the rationale behind. Yun. Eh, sir, kung mas madali naman ang pag-take ng buwis, okay, it set up, if this setup makes collection of tax easier, sir, how do Spanish authorities tax tax us or tax the indigenous Filipino people? So, in the Philippine society nowadays, okay, which is more um systematic, okay? Way back then, there is a system then, okay, wherein they collect direct and indirect taxes. Pero discuss ko muna yung meron sa atin today. Taxation kasi, tax, it is the lifeblood of the society. In political law, there's this thing called lifeblood doctrine wherein ito ang buhay, dugo ng bansa, no? And the tax, dyan kinukuha yung pambayad sa mga infrastrukturang pinapagawa, okay? Kung makikita nyo, so dyan din ibinabayad dyan kinukuha yung ibinabayad sa mga tao na naninilbihan sa gobyerno, pulis, sundalo, okay? Guro, kaguruan, marami pang iba. Okay? So, yan. Yun yung konsepto ng pagbubuwis. Pero dati, before sir, way back, okay, how it is being collected? It is consisted of direct and indirect taxes. One of the direct taxes extracted was the buwis or tribute. Sir, what is the tribute? Okay. So, it is the collection of buwis was rampantly cruel. Okay. It wasn't justifiable for the people. Okay? So they often defied authorities. Meaning, hindi makatao. These authorities will send soldiers to collect tributes by force. Okay? Lagay. Those who cannot comply were tortured or imprisoned. Imagine mo yun. Okay? Napakahirap ng buhay, di ba? So you are working hard, but you are forced and tortured to get the tax. Okay? Hindi siya pro-rata, hindi siya prorated. Okay? Hindi siya proportionate. Okay? So authorities also deprive the people of their right to choose their mode of payment. We don't have the right as to whether or not we will pay by cash or we will pay by products. Hence, during these periods when money was scarce, kapag kakulangan ng pera and the products produced or the uh, ani was plentiful, they demanded to be paid in cash. Syempre, kulang na yung cash eh. So, kapag kulang na, mautak din yung mga Spanish authorities, they will pay by cash. So, and vice versa. Whenever there was scarcity of produce and prices were high, they insisted on payment through goods. Wala kang karapatang mamili. Sila ang mamimili. Depende kung ano yung nagkukulang. Okay? Limbawa, there is a scarcity in money, in cash. So, and there is a plenty produce o mga ani. Pagbabayarin ka ng cash kasi kulang nga sa cash. Kapag napaka-konti naman ng ani, pero napakaraming cash, so, they will force you to pay in produce. Okay? So, baliktad. Diba? So, yon. Another form of taxation is the bandala. Okay? Ay, wait lang. Sir, ano ba muna yung yung tribute? Okay? Para malaman ninyong lahat. Kanina tribute, di ba? Ngayon bandala. So, when we say tribute, guys, it is the most significant tax imposed on the indigenous population. Meaning to say, it is a personal tax paid by every male Filipino above the age of 16. Okay? So, the amount of tribute, it varies, guys, depending on the individual social status, wealth, and occupation. Okay? So, ito yung most common. Okay? So, next is bandala. So, since the colonial government always claimed not to have enough funds to buy the goods, bandala essentially meant enforced confiscation. Ibig sabihin, if you cannot pay, they will confiscate your goods. In selling their goods to the government, people got promissory notes which were seldom redeemed in full. Yun yung sistema na yun. Okay? So, ibibenta nila yung goods sa government so that they can have the promissory note. Okay? Na kailangan mo munang bayaran to so that you can redeem these products, these goods in full. That is the bandala system. Okay? I hope that is clear to you. Okay, so whenever you have your questions, guys, no, um, just ask me or PM me directly or in our GC so that we can have a fruitful discussion to each and every one of us. Okay? Next slide is Polo e-Serviso. Sir, ano naman to? So, in addition to the taxes imposed, there was also the system called Polo e-Serviso. Here, guys, no, men who are 16 to 60 years old, with the exception of the datus and their sons, were required to serve for 40 days each year in the labor pool. May ibig sabihin, it is a forced labor system, pwersahan, in which the Filipino male population was required to render labor for 40 days each year. Meaning to say, the labor was primarily used for public works and other projects, okay, enforce, okay, by the use of force. Okay, so ganun po lahat, walang sinisino except the datus and their sons. And the next is encomienda. Sir, ano naman yung encomienda? Wala, ito na. Medyo komplikado to. There was also the establishment of the encomiendas. These were parcels of land given by the King of Spain who helped in the conquering the territory. So these were given to soldiers, administrative officials, and priests not to become their owners but protectors. However, this tawag sa kanila encomenderos. Oh. Binibigyan sila na yung mga lahat ng sundalo, okay, lahat ng administrative officials, priests, okay, na tumulong para makakonquer ng territory, binibigyan sila ng portion of land. Hindi sila ang owner nito, but they are the protectors. However, wait lang, yung protectors, tawag sa kanila encomenderos. However, these encomenderos never fulfill their roles. They use these lands and its people to enrich themselves. Okay? So, iba yung layunin nila. Okay? Sabi ng King ng Spain, kayo lang magpoprotekta niyan. However, these encomenderos, ginamit nila yung lands na yan para sa sarili nila. Okay? So, the encomienda system, guys, it is a form of tribute paid by the indigenous people to the Spanish encomendero. who was granted the right to collect labor and goods from the indigenous people in a specific area. So, in short, they're somehow like landlords, okay? Wherein, if you are the indigenous people who is working on that land, you will pay specific amount to that encomendero, okay, na hindi naman sa kanila, na ginagamit lang din yung sarili mong lupa, na hindi din naman sila nagtatrabaho, okay? Instead of they're the protectors, okay, they use it to enrich themselves, okay? So, yun, that is very significant, guys, no? So, I hope that is clear to you, okay? If you have any questions, just chat me again, okay? So, yun. Ano bang naging epekto nito sa atin? Okay. This encomienda system resulted in the loss of indigenous beliefs, practices, and land ownership. Nawalan tayo ng sarili nating lupa. The forced labor and the exploitation under the encomienda system to widespread led to widespread poverty and inequality among the Filipino population. Okay, ginagamit tayo. Okay? Ginagamit yung sarili nating lupa in order for them to enrich themselves, hindi para sa atin. Okay? So, yun. Next tayo. Yan. So, social stratification during the Spanish occupation. Okay, so, what is that? What is the social stratification during the Spanish occupation? So, during the Spanish occupation, guys, no, social stratification in the Philippines was based on a hierarchical system that placed the Spanish colonizers at the top. Okay? Ito yan. Ito yung mga uri ng tao unang panahon dito sa Pilipinas. Okay? Ito yung mga taong may bilang. At ano ang bilang natin dito? Tignan natin. Okay? So, first, the Peninsulares. They are the full-blooded Spaniards who were born in Spain. Okay? Bakit sila tinawag na Peninsulares? Because Spain is located in the Iberian Peninsula region of Europe, and they are the top administrative post in the Spanish colonial government. Okay? And that administrative posts are reserved for them. Okay? They look down upon the people below. Okay? Who are those? The Insulares. Okay? Again, Peninsulares, full-blooded, pinanganak sa Spain. Okay? Yung top administrative of rank naka-reserve sa kanila. Okay? Ngayon, ano yung nasa baba nila? Insulares. Who are those Insulares? Kanina, full-blooded, pinanganak sa Spain. Ngayon, Insulares, they were also full-blooded Spaniards. However, pinanganak na po sila sa Pilipinas. Okay? And the reason why the Peninsulares dislike them, kasi naniniwala yung mga Peninsulares that they are ahead. Mas mataas sila, mas lamang, mas angat. Because they are born in Spain. And being born in Spain, it is more prestigious and superior compared to those who are born in the colonies. Okay? And they are called the Españoles Filipinos, the Insulares. Okay? So I hope that is clear to you. Now, sino yung mga next doon? The mestizos. Who are those mestizos? Ito yung mga tinatawag natin today na half, okay? People born from foreign and native parents. They are the fruits of intermarriages, Filipino and Spaniard, okay? So, yon. They are called the mestizos. And sino naman, sir, yung mga prinsipalya? Okay? So when we say Principalia, guys, these are the descendants of the nobles to the archipelago during the pre-colonial period who allied themselves with Spain. Okay? Sila daw yung mga descendants ng mga nobles, ng mga datos, ng mga rahas who allied with Spain. Nakipag-alyansa. As a result of their alliance with Spain, they were given lands, wealth, and position. Okay? Sa pakikipag-alyansa nila, binigyan sila ng lupa, kayamanan, at posisyon. Sila yung mga prinsipalya. Okay? Don't call them traitors. Okay? Pero pwede din. Joke lang. Okay? Indios. So, who are those Indios? As you can see, they are full-blooded natives of the archipelago who were formerly free men and dependents. They hold no prestige in the history. From the word Indio, utusan, alalay, okay? They are not free men, okay? And they hold no prestige in the society. Next is the Sanglis. O, sir, sino naman yung mga Sanglis? Kung akala nyo mababa na ang Indio, meron pa po. They had the lowest standing in society under the Spanish rule. They are the Sanglis. Okay, they are composed of Chinese migrants who went to the Philippines to pursue trading. Okay, sila yung mga nagtitinda, pumunta sa Pilipinas para magtinda ng kung ano-ano. Okay? And yon, Prelocracy. Okay, so mga praile, di ba? Mga priors. Aside from the established social structure, there was also the obvious influence of religion in society. Historians refer to this as prelocracy or the rule of the priors or priests. Okay, when you say prelocracy, guys, no, they are not a group of people. Hence, it is a system wherein it is a rule of the priors and the priests. And that prelocracy has a massive influence in every aspect of society and rules supreme in government matters, okay? The rule of the church, okay? So as servants of God, people were afraid to oppose them, even if they were already abusing their power. Okay, that is prelocracy. So yun. I hope you learned a lot in this lesson, okay? But I have something to say, no? What really brought us, okay, to this kind of uh, understanding. Okay. So, as I've said a while ago, life under Spanish rule was marked by significant changes in the socio-economic and cultural aspects of Filipino society. Okay? So, these changes imposed by the Spanish authority had a profound and lasting effect on us. Okay? So, yun. Um, to end this lesson, okay, I just want to say that there is a system, okay, being imposed to us, and that is decentralized governance. Okay, it undermined the autonomy and traditional practices of the Filipino people. Okay, the traditional political structure and systems of governance were replaced by Spanish institutions, which further marginalized the indigenous communities na itsepuera. Okay, furthermore, that rule of the Spanish, this Spanish occupation, had a significant impact on our language, on our culture, and the adoption of Spanish as the official language and the focus on teaching Spanish culture in education at that time, at that occupation, okay, resulted in the decline of indigenous languages and cultural practices. And with that being said, this cultural assimilation led to a loss of identity and heritage among Filipino people na walan tayo ng sarili nating pagkakakilanlan. Divide and conquer yung ginawa sa atin eh. Kasi akala natin before, no? Akala natin before, kapag nakatira, kasi hindi natin alam yung sarili nating identity before talaga sa totoo lang. Halimbawa, yung isa taga isang lugar, point A. Taga isa, taga point B. Akala natin kalaban natin sila. Okay, nakita to ng mga Spanish eh. Okay, in which ginamit nila yun against us. Halimbawa, yung isa taga Dagupan, yung isang ah community taga Mangaldan, for example, or taga San Fabian as the case may be. Ngayon, akala natin, kalaban natin yung mga taga San Fabian or taga Mangaldan or yung mga taga Dagupan. Hence, hindi nila alam, pare-pare silang on the same archipelago. And then nakita yun ng mga Spanish, ang ginawa, pinaglaban-laban tayo, they divide us and conquer us. Ganun sila katalino. Okay? So, yun. Kaya nga, after 300 plus years lang tayo nakalaya. Okay? So yun. At actually hindi pa tayo nakalaya directly kasi after that may mga nanakop pa sa atin at binagbili pa tayo sa halagang $20 million is the case maybe. Okay? 'Di ba? So yun. Overall, the changes imposed by the Spanish authorities had a detrimental effect on the Filipino people. Okay? It results to the loss of our autonomy. They exploited us, cultural assimilation, and socio-economic inequality. These effects continue to shape the Philippine history and the struggles faced by the Filipino people in reclaiming our cultural identity and achieving justice. Okay. So I hope you learn a lot in this lesson. Again, that is understanding colonization under Spanish occupation. So thank you for listening. I hope you learn a lot. If you have questions, clarifications, violent reaction, or may naguguluhan kayo sa ibang bagay, you can chat me directly na lang doon sa group chat natin. Okay? Para maintindihan din ng iba ninyong mga klase. So that is lesson 5. Thank you and God bless you all. Happy New Year. So to follow na po yung ibang lesson.